I guess we're not going to be able to hear you because it doesn't look. Oh no, there we go. Your audio is connected. So we're just waiting for a couple more people, and we're about to kick things off.
Yeah.
I haven't used Zoom for a while. I usually use Teams these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't use Zoom at all now. Yeah.
There we go.
We might as well get off. We are now 10 minutes into the meeting anyway. We had a bit of shooting to go through, and then we are now in. So let's just start the meeting, and as people come in, if they do come in, we'll let them in. And obviously this is going to be recorded, and then posted on YouTube and LinkedIn. So welcome everyone for the SIMCAFE 2.0, starting the year 2025. We did not have a session in January, obviously because the holiday season and people were out and about. We're starting the month of February with a informative session about Australian SIM Congress, which will happen in Adelaide in August 2025. So we've got Amanda Davis and Philip Swadling to cap of full brief of the session of the Australian SIM Congress. So over to you, Amanda and Phil.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And welcome to everybody. We'd like to just start off with a very short video that might just inspire you.
Your PowerPoint in edit mode. Okay, now it's full screen. And now it started the video again.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. To the end.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Click on that.
Okay.
There you go.
We're under control.
There you go. Got it.
Okay, so we were going to welcome people to a briefing of the ASC 25 to talk through the topics for the Congress and also some of the quite exciting activities that we're going to have available at the Congress. So Phil and I are doing this as a shared presentation and more than happy to take any questions that people might have. The theme this year is for transformative futures, building tomorrow together. We really made this as broad as we could in order to capture some of the areas that are using simulation but have not normally engaged with the wider simulation community, such as your emergency management people working in that space and using simulation. So the theme is drawn from the key influencing design and decision-making domains within the simulation and modelling space, and to contribute to very much a collaborative, innovative and sustainable future. The themes that were decided upon for this year were the modelling and decision support systems, which really is fundamental to simulation, not only in the education sphere, but also, of course, across the industry. The human dimensions in simulation, because this has been a very important aspect that is threaded through the life of simulation from beginning when we looked at aviation and the military as early adopters of simulation, and it continues today to be a very strong influence. Serious games and concepts has emerged as a very strong area within simulation, and we've reignited the passion for that this year by having a serious games challenge within the Congress, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the next slide. And the technology innovations, always important when we're talking about simulation, because essentially we do scaffold upon all of those new and emerging technologies to build our simulations for better, clearer, and more productive, either production for industry or in the academic field. The education and development, curriculum and techniques over a long period of time, we've recognised how important it is to have this theme within the Congress, because there are new and emerging, if you like, offshoots from pedagogy that are developing simulations to be used in so many different areas within our education field. And then the final one is about advancing professional practice within simulation-based learning. And this is looking more at how we can accredit, and provide formal training within the simulation field. So the program that we have developed includes masterclasses, which are very much either hands-on or theoretical. And to date, we have some really exciting ones that have come on board, which have included, as we've listed below, some site visits for health, some masterclasses that take people from early beginnings with simulation, if they're still a novice learner, through to the more advanced classes for those who are using simulation and would like to be able to explore how it's being used in other fields to develop their own application of simulation. The Serious Games Challenge, we've, as I mentioned earlier, reignited this year, both for a team or an individual contribution. And that's very much got itself up and going. And we're looking forward to being able to support the winner of the Serious Games Challenge to attend ASC in America, in Orlando, at the end of the year, as part of the Serious Games Challenge from around the world that they have at ASC, which I might mention has got about 20,000 people that come through their simulation event. And so it certainly captures very much a global exchange of ideas. We've got presentations this year, as we have in being the fundamental area for the Congress, which come from both academic and industry. And interestingly, we're looking and anticipating that much of that will be about next generation use of simulation and technology, potentially metaverse, digital twins, etc. Panels will be part of our program this year, and they will involve the sort of interoperability around academic, government and industry. And when we talk about government, we're talking here about potentially defence, but also health as well. The site visits included within the program, particularly for Adelaide Health Simulation. We've got a hackathon challenge occurring this year, which is looking at trying to bring in the student population who will be and are early adopters of simulation. And they're the ones that have, you know, this new foresight into how simulations and serious games can be used for education. The hackathon challenge will be on site, and it's anticipated that students will be able to enter both teams and potentially individuals, but we're really looking for that team collaborative fun day for them. And finally, workshops will be spread throughout the program. These workshops differ from the masterclasses in that they generally concentrate on one specific area. They generally come from a specific provider, whether it be a university or industry, and they're much shorter in length. So that's at this stage what we have ahead for us for the program for the Congress. Perhaps I just mention here before we move on a little further that we do have the call for abstracts open. They close on the 30th of March. Which is quite interesting because we have the opportunity for full papers, short papers, presentations only, and of course the workshops. When we talk about the short papers, I'd just like to refer here particularly for the health industry, that what we have arranged is for short briefs, research briefs, that will be published in the International Journal of Health Simulation. Very important journal for the health community, and particularly for those who are researching and academics and doing scholarly work within the health arena. There's the opportunity here to have your short brief research report published. For other industry areas and academic and scholarly areas, we've got the special edition with the Simulation and Gaming Journal, Scopus Q1 indexed journal, for a special edition to be published with full papers after the Congress. So maybe now I could hand over to Phil, who might like to talk a little bit about the Serious Game Challenge and some of the other areas that we have prepared for with the Congress. Over to you, Phil.
Sure, thanks, Amanda. So I guess the couple of things I wanted to mention. I could start with the Serious Games Challenge, as you said. So this is a competition that we have run a number of times in the past for many years, and it kind of fell away during COVID times, and now we're bringing it back in again. And for those who aren't clear on what a serious game is, it's basically a game that's used for non-entertainment purposes. So using gaming technology, gaming techniques. Typically it's computer technology enabled gaming, but games, obviously, as Elizabeth would be no doubt happy to point out at length, games aren't just on computers. Obviously board games go back a long way, but really the focus in this competition is on computer and technology enabled games for a serious purpose, which could be for training, it could be for education. In some cases in the past, we've had one game that was actually used for diagnosing auditory and hearing difficulties with young kids. And there was the game embedded in it with various sounds for them to pick up on as part of the game. And that having the game element obviously helped them to stay engaged and to really pay attention to what was happening. That won an award at the Congress and went to ITSEC, and the game is still actually going. The developer of that game is still developing and continuing to refine that particular product, and it's actually won a number of awards subsequently. So that's a really important element of what we're talking about at the Congress. A couple of other things I wanted to mention is up in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a whole bunch of logos. So next to the principal partners, just want to really strongly acknowledge the support from the South Australian Government via Business Events Adelaide. So we've partnered with them to support the Congress, and also obviously the Adelaide Convention Centre for the site as well. So we wouldn't be able to do this conference without their support. That's really important. And then above that, we're jointly hosting this Congress, as we did in 2023, with the Systems Engineering Society of Australia and the Australian branch of the International Test and Evaluation Association, ITEA. There is a lot of overlap in terms of the kinds of uses that simulation is put to in those communities. So in particular, in the engineering community, using modeling and simulation to help understand the requirements to actually design the solution, to test that the solution works in the way that you think it might work in a model-based environment. Using simulation is becoming more and more important with complex systems. And then test and evaluation, it's not entirely possible to fully test more complex systems, particularly autonomous and AI and machine learning based solutions in the real world. So using simulation and modeling and virtual ranges for test and evaluation is also a significant trend as well. So that's I guess the reason that we've joined with them. It worked well in 2023. We're looking forward to bringing all of those different communities together in 25 in Adelaide. In terms of the I guess the areas across the economy that we're looking to participate, Amanda's mentioned health, I think defence as well, but anybody who uses simulation or modelling is really welcome. And a lot of people use modelling and simulation and don't call it that. So the Weather Bureau doing the weather forecast, every time they do that, they're running a model, a simulation of what the weather might be based on the inputs that they're getting around. They run a whole series of models with different parameters using the current conditions at the time, projecting forward, and then they base their statistics about what's likely to happen depending on the different outcomes of all the different models. Economic modelling, obviously Treasury does that all the time. They simulate what could be the outcome of particular events in the economy. They work out what particular policy approaches might look like in the future. Any kind of work like that is modelling and simulation, and it's a topic for the Congress. But I guess a particular focus this year in terms of broadening the agenda is emergency management and disaster response and things like that. So one of our initial keynotes, which Amanda has been instrumental in bringing in, is David Owens from Risky Business. And part of his business is basically preparing airports for emergencies, running simulations where they have an aircraft on the runway or just off the runway, so they don't close the airport, and then they run through a whole series of processes to exercise everything from the fire is going out to the aircraft all the way up to the, making sure they call the right people to tell the people in the department, emergency response all over the place, that they're actually doing all the right things in that process, so that if it should happen for real, then it's not the first time they've seen it, that they've got that to call on to remind them how things work. But it's also used to actually find holes in the processes and identify gaps in training or communications channels and the like. So that's a really critical use of simulation, which I think will be particularly interesting to people who come along to the Congress. In terms of other things, from a Simulation Australasia point of view, I just wanted to call out the awards dinner that we'll be running on the Wednesday of the conference. We always do this. There's awards within the conference itself for best paper, best presentation, and the like. But Simulation Australasia also runs awards in parallel with that, and that's focused on looking at people who've made significant contributions to the industry as individuals. So there's the Ray Page Lifetime Achievement Award for someone who's made a significant contribution to the industry over an extended period of time, around 20 years or so. There's an Achievement Award, which is someone who's made a significant contribution over a shorter period, but is nonetheless significant. And then we have Project Awards, which are focused on teams of people delivering outcomes using modelling and simulation that are particularly impressive in the last couple of years as well. So we'll be putting out a call for submissions and nominations for those awards in the very near future. So keep an eye out for that. And I guess in terms of other social events in the program, we'll have the Tuesday evening networking event to really kick the week off. And as I mentioned already, the dinner on the Wednesday night. The other thing I wanted to highlight on the website is there's a section there that talks about Destination Adelaide. So we're really encouraging people visiting the Congress, coming to the Congress rather, and visiting Adelaide to look beyond the events at the conference itself, and to use that information to identify options and opportunities for maybe restaurants to visit, sightseeing to do before or afterwards. Certainly there's a lot to see in Adelaide and in the area. And there's a lot of information through that link on the website to enable you to plan a broader visit to the area. So I think that's the main things I wanted to say. So Amanda, back to you if you wanted to add anything before we wrap up and see if there's any questions.
Oh, thank you. No, excellent. All of that information is really valuable, and it's really important, as you mentioned, to call out our people that, not only people, but also the organisations that are supporting the Congress this year. I thought it would be helpful just to show these dates.
Is not available at the time. Please.
Sorry.
Carry on.
Yep. To call for, these dates forward, just to show where we are in the process of leading up to the Congress. So we have the call for abstracts have gone out. They'll close on the 30th of March, and then those authors will be notified on the 28th of April. Our early bird registrations close on the 30th of April. We'll have a preliminary program launch on the 16th of May. It is anticipated that we will have a draft program out within the next 2 weeks, and then a final program launch in July. And then we get together for the 11th to the 14th of August. In between that time, we will be putting out on social media as they become confirmed our keynote speakers, so that people can identify which areas they'd like to be involved in when they do come to the Congress, but also that to be able to showcase that it is a very broad scope Congress, because there are so many industries that use simulation. And I think each time we run this Congress, we're looking to engage or embrace a new partner, like we have this year with the emergency management and disaster response. So as you mentioned, Phil, there's so many different areas that use simulation and modelling that as yet have not been embraced into the Congress, but we're working on it. So we hope that all of this information has been really helpful, and we're always ready to take any questions or to answer any queries, not just today, but on into the future as we lead up to the Congress.
Thanks, Amanda. I just realised there was one other thing I was going to mention, which is the exhibition and sponsorship opportunities. So if anyone's interested in showing what they can do and the great products or services that they have, or highlighting their business through sponsoring different aspects of the Congress, then go to the website. There's a prospectus that you can download to identify the opportunities for either of those ways of engaging with the community.
Thank you, Phil. Shall I stop sharing now, Udi, as chair?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, thank you, Amanda and Phil. I did have some questions which I noted down, and Phil, you answered one of those questions already. Sponsorship and exhibition. How can an organization sponsor, or how can an organization get an exhibition booth? Yes, you answered that question. So yes, we need to go to the website, download that prospectus, and get in touch, and then yeah, off we go. And in terms of the dialing this back a bit, in terms of the hackathon and the Serious Games Challenge, can you give a bit more information about who can participate? Is it just is it only organizations, or is it just a group of friends who can come over and take part in the hackathon? What's the goal there?
I think, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the hackathon details are being worked out, but it's mostly aimed at university students, but possibly senior high. But I think mostly university students is the intended audience there. And then for the serious games, there's a range of different groups. I mean, it's anybody who's got a game that they think they want to really highlight, that they think is a strong competitor. It could be as an individual, it could be a group of friends, it could be students, or it could be a commercial game. And there'll be different categories. So it's not necessarily people who are competing against commercial providers as just groups of friends doing it as a bit of a hobby. So there is the opportunity for both of those. And typically the process would be there's an application, a bit like an abstract, where you describe your game and how it works and what it does. Then there's an assessment of the game itself by a team of people. And then there's a set of finalists in each of the categories who will actually be invited to come to the Congress itself and exhibit. And then the actual winners will be announced during the awards dinner.
All right. Okay. Well, that clears that up. Well, let's just go to one participant in the audience today, Rhonda. Any questions from your end? Elizabeth, any questions or suggestions or notes that we want to take?
I was very happy to hear that university students will be engaged. It seems to me that too many of the conferences in general only speak to the people that are already involved, and I'm interested in how we get people involved earlier in their careers in something like this, where it becomes part of a tool that they can use in their field, and therefore open the whole concept up much more broadly than we're in now. With AI coming, this field is going to expand.
Absolutely.
So how are you approaching universities?
So we've got a number of people on the board who are actually in universities. So University of Melbourne, University of Queensland, Australian Catholic University, University of Adelaide and University of South Australia, still separate universities at the moment, are definitely very strongly engaged as part of the overall Congress. And they're strongly involved from the health perspective as well. University of Technology Sydney is another particular area that we can outreach I know quite a few people there, so I'm starting to push that, and also Macquarie University as well. So it's basically through personal contacts and getting the message out there. And if you've got any thoughts about how we can make sure that we can phrase things, or anyone we should be talking with or to get the message out there more strongly, then be very happy to hear from you.
Okay. I'm very keen to see that the kids are moving faster than the academics in this field. And I want to see the students in. I don't want to see, we've listened to academics all our lives.
Yes.
Let's hear the real innovators and really
Yep.
start getting excited about
Yep. Yeah, and it's not, I guess I should have mentioned student, not just a hackathon. We're really keen to encourage students to submit papers and identify themselves as such, because we have in the past provided a best paper award for a student paper during the Congress as well. So that I guess that's another opportunity we need to get out there. But yeah, absolutely, we need to engage with the people of the future who've really got all the energy and enthusiasm to take things into the next. I was going to say next century, the next era.
Decade will do. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Rhonda. That's a really important comment, and thanks for reminding us of that.
Thank you. Elizabeth, any suggestions, any questions to Phil
Well,
and Amanda?
I was driving, so I couldn't contribute earlier. So I just wanted to check whether Amanda mentioned the master classes, because it's going to be a really challenging program on Monday, and hopefully with a certification for attendance and industry professional status attached. Working really hard on that. So the masterclasses will, I think, offer people opportunity to really find out where they stand in simulation professionalism and extend and develop their skills.
Yep.
So, yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Back to you, Udi.
Yep. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And Phil and Amanda, thank you very much for highlighting and briefing us on the Australasian Sim Congress, and looking forward to put a summary on this on LinkedIn and YouTube, and get some marketing around the Congress. Looking forward to meet all of you in person at the Simulation Congress, and as you know, I live in Adelaide.
Yes.
You're coming down to the Congress. There are multiple wineries around, multiple wine regions, lovely beaches around. So have a wander. Enjoy South Australia.
Thank you.
Brilliant. You don't work for the Adelaide Event Bureau, do you, by any chance, as well? In your spare time? That was perfect.
Udi, thanks very much for the opportunity to do this today, and we just look forward to the summary that you place out on the media. The more publication we can get, and I think that we need to follow up on what Rhonda was mentioning, and I know that I've discussed this earlier. We need to find out how we can reach student bodies, and there must be a way of doing that. Particularly those students that are interested in simulation and modelling, and they're very creative, these young students. So I agree with Rhonda. I have always said that we need to be able to get into universities and see what we can do to encourage them, because that's the exciting part. You go into the exhibition hall and the students are so, and rightly so, very proud of the work that they do. And they really add a very fresh buzz to what happens around simulation.
Absolutely.
So we'll work on that offline, see what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. We can talk about that in the organising committee that's coming up in a few minutes.
I just wanted to say I won't be able to make the meeting. I'm just going through chaos at the moment.
Yeah, understood.
But after end of March, I can join the organising committee meetings again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave.
Have a great afternoon, evening.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye for
bye.
now.
Philip, this
Mhm.
this recording will be saved to you. If you can send that to me, I will edit and then post it through.
Okay. It should be on the cloud, I'm assuming, as opposed to on my personal device. But yep,
Okay. Yep.
depends what we're setting. There's two options, and I'm assuming it's set to cloud by default.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I should get a message when it's
That'll
ready,
be
and I'll
fine.
forward it to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay, no problems. Bye.
Bye.